In a coaching session, there is you and the coach. And the coach acts like a mirror in that they reflect back to you who you are. So we get to experience ourselves through their ears and their eyes. Whereas when we're left to ourselves, we talk to ourselves on the inside of our mind, we make pictures in the center of our mind, and we create feelings, which may work for us or not. When we get stuck, we may turn to a friend. And some friends are actually really quite natural coaches in that they'll listen to us, they'll support us, we'll get to feel acknowledged, validated, such that we're able to access and mobilise our inner resources to get on the path to where we want to go. But wouldn't it be nice if we could be both friend and coach to ourselves? And this is how we do it. We use a recorder. I use this Zoom H4N, but most mobile phones and tablets should have a recording function. So in a moment, I'm going to show you how to use a recording device to self-coach, and then we'll go over to my website and I'll show you some articles that you can use to support the process. So you start your self-coaching session in much the same way that you would start an ordinary coaching session, where you may say something to the effect, what's the problem, what change do you want from the session, or what do you want for yourself? You then start the recorder and ask, so what's the problem, Abby, if any, and what do you want for yourself? Well, there's no real problem at the moment, but what I would really like to do is to improve my health. So, Abby, do you know what to do to improve your health? Well, to a certain degree I do, but what I think would really be most effective if I was to change my environment. So if you change your environment, what would that look like, sound like, and feel like? Then I stop the recording and I play it back. So you start your self-coaching session in much the same way that you would start an ordinary coaching session, where you may say something to the effect, what's the problem, what change do you want from the session, or what do you want for yourself? You then start the recorder and ask, so what's the problem, Abby, if any, and what do you want for yourself? Well, there's no real problem at the moment, but what I would really like to do is to improve my health. So, Abby, do you know what to do to improve your health? Well, to a certain degree I do, but what I think would really be most effective if I was to change my environment. So if you change your environment, what would that look like, sound like, and feel like? And now what I do is I just answer that question that I posed to myself, what would the new healthy environment look like, sound like, feel like? And I just continue just talking, having this conversation, recording it, listening, recording, listening to it. So now let's go over to my website and I'll show you some articles which will help you, lead you through the coaching process. So now we go over to abbyeagle.com. This is my website. Go to the menu, click on NLP Resources. It takes you to this page of articles, and there's a whole series of articles here, which you can see. It's just one series of articles on this website, which I've written mainly for my clientele. We go down to here, to these boxes, present state, desired outcome, what is the structure of positive thinking? So we click on this, opens up this new page, learn the structure of positive thinking, how to deal with a problem and get your desired outcome.
And there's an illustration, how to think positive thoughts. There's 2 boxes, present state to desired outcome. So let's take a closer look at our present state to desired outcome model. So we start by drawing a box for the present state. Now you often find that people will ask about the present state. They will ask why. They'll say, well, why do you smoke? Why do you get stressed? Why do you behave the way that you do? And if we ask why, we're going to get an answer like because. And we'll get because. And all it tends to do is actually reinforce the problem. So with NLP, what we're doing is this. We want to shift across to our desired outcome. This is the goal. And we start asking questions like, what? What would your desired outcome look like, sound like, feel like? Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. And when do you want your outcome? Where? With whom? So we contextualize the desired outcome. And then we can ask why. Because now we're asking why about the desired outcome. We're saying, well, what's important to you about the outcome? Once you get that, then what we get to have or to experience. So we map out the meaning of the desired outcome, which then actually motivates the person away from their present state to their desired outcome. So in a way, it's taken the person away from the negative and across to the positive, from what you don't want to what you do want. And of course, as you actually start taking action, because this is the action, as you're taking action towards your desired outcome, you then get for yourself a new present state. And we run through this process once again. So let's continue with this process. This is the well-formed outcome conditions as described by Michael Hall. So we've gone what, and then we go down to why, and then we go into the processes, into the how. And we're asking questions like, do you know what to do? So what to do? Do you know what to do? Is it self-initiated? Is it self-initiated and maintained? That means, are you solely responsible for actually ensuring this project actually begins and actually completes? Or is it relying upon luck or some external variable like somebody else? And then we're asking, well, what to do, self-initiate and maintain. Well, can you do it? Can you do it? If you don't know how to do it, well, do you know somebody else who can do it? And then, well, have you done this before? Have you done this before? Well, maybe you haven't done it before, but has somebody else done this before? So what we're trying to find out is this the goal, is it actually possible? Is it actually reasonable? And then we start mapping out the steps. We start mapping out the steps and the stages. So this is when you really got to start writing things down. And then once you've mapped out the steps and stages, we have to write an action plan. We write an action plan. So then we have something which we can show to others. And if other people can't understand it, then it's probably not going to work. And then we have to have a way to monitor. How monitor? If you've got a way to monitor your progress, like all those steps and stages. And then we have to take into account the possible interferences. And this interferences, they could be internal interferences, external interferences from other people, from the world, regulations, internal interferences. It could be because maybe you might lose interest or you get a block or obstacle comes along. Have you got a way to actually to deal with those interferences? And have you got the resources? Have you got the resources? That's both the internal resources and the external resources. So internal resources is frames of mind, the thoughts, the beliefs, the attitudes, the wherewithal. And the external resources, of course, is time, money, people, that type of thing. So we've gone from what do you want, what would it look like, sound like, feel like, why do you want it, the processes like the how, and then we get into the checks. So have we got space down here? So let's go back up, let's go up to the top, let's go up to here, continue up here, and we have the checks. So then we need to do an ecology check. So are you in alignment with the goal? Are you congruent? If not, then you will need to deal with it. Otherwise, it's going to be an interference. Then one of the checks is, the last checks is why. This is why compelling. Why compelling? So is the desired outcome, is it really meaningful to you? Is it really compelling? Is it going to really pull you into the future? It's going to drive you to take action. And then we get to having made a decision. So you might be in alignment with this, you might know what you want, it might be compelling, but have you made a decision? Have you made a decision to take action? And then we get down to the evidence, the convincer. So what will let you know that, say, a week from now that you've actually taken action? What will let you know a month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now that you've actually have achieved the outcome or have reached those milestones towards achieving the outcome? And then we get down to the real nitty-gritty. And this is where we have the tasks. The tasks. It's like, what are these tasks that you're going to give yourself? So this is your to-do list. So do you write a to-do list every day for the next day? For me, I write a to-do list in the evening, what I'm going to do the next day. And then as well as having a to-do list, there has to be a to-be list. All right? So this is like, who do you need to be? What are the hats you need to wear in order for you to carry out those tasks? How do you motivate yourself? How do you keep yourself moving in the face of adversity? And then we come down to here and we come down to learnings. So what we do with learnings, and it comes back to over to here, to our present state, is if we take timeline, we draw it out, so we have future, now, past, then what we want to do, of course, is extract the learnings from the past. So we want to extract the learnings from the past, and then we want to apply them to the present tasks, such that we then are able to move forwards with greater degrees of success towards our desired outcome. Now I've got a bit of space on this chart, so I thought I might show you this too. So now what we do, if we take a square, and this is Roger Hamilton's wealth dynamics square. I'm just going to, this is part of it. And so this is the axis of intuition sensing. This is the axis of introversion, extroversion. Then you join up, you get a box, you get a square, and you get your 8 personality types. But for the moment, I'm just going to show you. Because this is the what. So every project goes through a cycle. So it starts with what, and then it moves around, and it goes to the who. And then it goes around to the when, to the how, and back to the what. So depending on what your desired outcome is, let's say it's a project, then you might map out the project, you map out your desired outcome, and then some people might just go, oh, well, how? They go, oh, okay, I've mapped it out, I know what I want, how am I going to do it? Well, you've got your action plan, and in this, there's actually who. So, do you know what to do? Well, you might not know what to do, but then if you find somebody else who knows what to do, we have a who. Self-initiating, maintained, that has to be you, but can you do it? Maybe not, but maybe there is somebody else who can do it. So you start looking for people who can do it. You might not have done this before, but somebody else might have done this before. So once again, we get a who, steps and stages, action plan. You might not know how to write an action plan, so you look for somebody to help you to write an action plan. Way to monitor the progress. You might need other people to give feedback on it. The interferences, resources, people. So the who is really important. So it's not actually, who isn't really actually mentioned there explicitly in these well-formed outcome questions. But if we take it over here, you have your what. This is what you want for yourself. And then before going to the how, we go to the who. We're asking questions like, who is the best person to do this task? Who can I outsource it to so they can take care of the how? Then once you've identified the who, you then have to decide when you're going to take action. Now, you have to know when to take action and when to stop taking action. So you have to know when to start, when the project's going to begin, and all the processes in between, and when it's completed. So if we use the analogy of, say, getting on a bus, and here we have the bus stop, which is like our present state. So you get to the bus stop, and here you have your desired outcome, your destination. Well, all you have to do is get to the bus stop. And then there's actually a guy turns up with a bus. So you didn't have to build the bus. You don't know how to drive the bus. You didn't have to build the road. That's already there. The resources, that's the people, that's other. All you have to do is get to the bus stop on time. Now, if you get to the bus stop an hour early or 2 hours early, well, the problem could be is that you get on the wrong bus. And if it's one of those express buses, it might miss some of those stops, those milestones along the way. And it might not even actually go to this desired outcome. It might go past. So, and of course, if you get the bus is too late, once you actually arrive towards the final destination, you'll find it's too late. It's over and done with. So timing is really, really important, that you actually be patient and know when is the best time to start the project, such that you're able to engage all the people, run all the processes, such that you actually know the evidence convincer when you've actually completed your project.